several years now, a group known as the Essex Boys, and in particular Paul Morris and Dave Hawkswood, have been making a long trek north to Lochaline to fish with Ian Burrett for huge common skate. On the past 3 occasions, I've enjoyed the good fortune to be up there with them, and I've seen at first hand their achievements in terms of numbers and size of these huge fish. And in particular Paul Morris, who they presented with a custom built skate rod personally monogrammed with the name Golden Balls.
Right. Yeah, what's this? It's I'll be doing all that when I'm getting the pedal, can't you? You pedalled up?
No, well, yeah, we're focusing. Right, good luck, boys.
And you,
mate.
For much of the year, Only skipper Ian Burrett fishes his 3 Orkney fastlands out of Loose Bay, specialising in pollock and tope. But in the spring of each year, he moves the operation north to fish the deep waters of the Firth of Lorne and the Sound of Mull for big common skate, which have a growth potential of over 400 pounds. The best fish on board to date had an estimated weight of 220 pounds.
That's the hook. No, that's the bite. Everything up here is big.
This particular bait is a big mackerel flapper with the tail removed to prevent spinning, wrapped in a cold fish fillet jacket held in place with an elastic band.
What can I We've finally made it down the Firth of Lorne. I've had 3 days of awful weather. Fishing has been tight, been struggling, but now we've gone down to the place where we expect to see a few fish. As ever, Phil's put me on wants me to make a prediction as to how many fish we're going to catch today. I've been a little bit cagey, but 5 would be nice.
I've just had my first bite that we're actually seen and had, and I'm just about to strike him this second.
Fish on!
Fish on!
Just watch your run.
Oh! Yeah, definitely fish on. Definitely fish on.
Ian supplies all the heavy skate gear required on the boat with top quality £50 class outfits, the reels of which are loaded to the brim with £80 breaking strain braid.
Yeah, we're having a bit of a frustrating day. We've been sat here since mid and early start, launched at 8, in what we've considered the best fishing area I've got. But we haven't had the luck. Spike's had 2 on his boat, oh sorry, 3. Spike's had the 3, and a boat that's come up with us, he's had 4 fish, and this is actually our first. So hopefully it'll be a nice big one. Dave handles the rod quite well, and when he's struggling it's usually a good fish. So fingers crossed.
So in?
Yeah, it's just starting to lift now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make that dragging.
The trace is 8 feet of £200 mono with a 12-oar hook fished from a long boom to avoid tangles on the 400 to 500 foot drop. The reason for such a heavy trace is the grinding teeth at one end of the fish and the sharp tail spines at the other, which must be kept away from the braid.
What we'll do when we get we'll get to the side of the boat, I'll get over the trace and we'll put a gap into the leading wing. Sounds cruel, but it doesn't actually hurt the fish. There's occasions when we've actually caught a fish, brought it into the boat with gaffs in, released it, and caught the same fish half an hour later. So if a fish was in distress, it just wouldn't feed.
A film of this duration can only hope to give a flavour of what big skate fishing is all about. What you don't get is the arm-aching, back-breaking stalemate of trying to break the seal of the fish when it clamps itself to the seabed for long periods of time, or the long steady haul of pumping it up to the top through 150 metres of water to the boat. Then you have to get it on board, retrieve the hook, measure and tag it, and all in a confined space, followed by potentially the biggest struggle of them all, trying to get it safely back over the side.
Try and turn the fish.
Just like that one, you get the air back in that side.
Yeah. catch the big fish. With works done by some of the lads who are interested in the skate conservation, we're able to measure the fish and then read its natural size up on a chart. These are leeches that grow in the fish. They don't actually do the fish any harm, but we usually pull them out as they drain the blood out the fish. Tagging scheme's run by Glasgow Museum, and the number of this one is 4821. You right?
Yeah, it's that bit there. That bit there you want.
Okay, ready, boys? You just remember what that was? It's like on video, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that girl, majestic. One flick of the tail and it's gone. Excellent. Well done, mate. Now, what we'll do now is we'll look at the chart and we'll see how big your fish was. Yeah, this is the chart we read for estimating the weights of the fish. You take the wingspan, read it up one side, the length of the fish on the bottom, and that gives you a figure. So I'm just going to have a look at Dave's fish now, which was 67 by 85. And that is a fantastic 202 pounds. Well done, Dave. This is skate fishing. We've been waiting since 8 o'clock this morning. So that's nearly 8 hours without a fish, and that's 2 in a matter of 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That's the way it goes.
Hi, showing me again. I've got another fish on my other rod, but I've been so kind and generous and go to Mr. Maris, and he ain't thanked me yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I'm going to throw this one. As you see, when you hook these things, they certainly put a bend in your rod. I think I've been into the fish now for about 15-20 minutes, and it's causing pain now. This is the bit you've got to get through. But I'm still struggling. It's still holding on to the bottom, and this is as it's been said before. This is the hardest bit. It's just getting that suction off the bottom, and you just got to put maximum pressure on it until one of us is going to give, and hopefully it's the fish. And that water just going, I've just lost. This is what is being known as beaten up now. That's just not stopping. So, another successful outcome for Golden Balls, whose record speaks for itself. The first year I fished with Paul, Dave and Ian, they had personal best fish just shaving under the £200 mark. It was in 2005 that Mr. Maris earned his title, with 2 fish in excess of £200 in consecutive days. Over 4 days of fishing, he had skate of 157, 174, 180, 189, 193, 2 at 199, 204 and 214 pounds, giving a 9 fish average of 190 pounds. On one day alone he was into skate for a total time in excess of 4.5 hours. How do you better that? In the weeks leading up to this trip, bad weather had dogged all efforts to get the boats over reasonable numbers of fish. Golden Balls turns up and the wind dies away. Then to top it all, as I was driving home, he only goes and boats another PB of £219.
What we got there? 61. It will be. You ready for the day? Yeah. Hold the line with that. 61, 80. 61, 80. You see the side come out, you get a football in there. Ready on top, nearly there. That's it, that's the hook out. You have to use the net. The only way to get them out, unfortunately, these fish have got no handle from them. Just go down the other way.
The Essex Boys certainly have an unrivalled record. The next stop, I suppose, will be to beat the £227 national record. but if they do, they won't be claiming it, as all skates in these waters go back regardless of size, and rightly so.